It was engineered. UFC have some of the best matchmakers in the world. They have the best minds.
Man, right now and in the first fight, it was the same thing. How good will be Alex Pereira?
With tension still high from the rematch with Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev's intense training footage and gritty transformation have fans buzzing. Interestingly, Chael Sonnen weighed in on the current state of the light heavyweight division, calling it one of the most complex in the UFC. He pointed out that there's been no significant public demand for an Alex Pereira rematch against Magomed Ankalaev, and emphasized that the UFC typically doesn't grant immediate rematches unless there's strong fan interest or controversy surrounding the result.
It's one of the more complex divisions. For example, you guys were not screaming and begging for Pereira to get a rematch against Ankalaev. Generally, for a rematch to happen, particularly in a main event, particularly for a world championship, and that did not happen in this case. And I was looking at that fight, and I'm very interested in it. I very much am interested in what adjustments that Pereira can make, but I want to juxtapose those also against what I would assume Ankalaev learned. Don't remember any of you asking for that fight. I have never read anywhere.
Moreover, Chael addressed the prevailing narrative surrounding the light heavyweight title rematch, noting that most people expect Magomed Ankalaev to come out victorious once again. However, Sonnen expressed skepticism, suggesting that this feels more like a promotional push than a conclusion. He also emphasized that, given the current landscape of the division, it's hard to envision anyone else stepping in to fight for the title at this point.
And I know the leading theory is that the rematch can only favor Pereira. I just see that logically as a bit of a push. It's very difficult to come to a conclusion that is not Pereira. I mean, for example, if Pereira is to get the jump on Ankalaev, Pereira, if he's defending, is going to be in a rematch. All of the reasonable matches for Pereira are going to be rematches.
Additionally, Magomed Ankalaev has officially kicked off his fight camp ahead of UFC 320, where he's set to challenge Alex Pereira. Early footage shows Ankalaev back in the gym, focusing heavily on building his kick stamina and sharpening his conditioning as he gears up for the high-stakes title clash. However, Ankalaev isn't the only one deep into preparation. Alex Pereira has also kicked off his fight camp, focusing intensely on refining his balance, coordination, control, and explosiveness. With the rematch on the horizon, Pereira is sharpening the tools he believes will give him the edge in his second bout against Ankalaev. Adding to that, Jiri Prochazka shared that his view remains the same for both the first fight and the rematch between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. He believes the outcome depends on how well Pereira performs. In the first fight, Pereira didn't push forward as much and held back a little. but if he shows up in his best shape, Jiri is confident he will win. At the same time, he acknowledged that Ankalaev did a great job with his counter approach against Pereira.
Man, right now and in the first fight, it was the same thing. How good will be Alex Pereira?
Right.
Because in first fight, he didn't attack too much. He was he kept himself a little bit back. So I think even in his best shape, he will win for sure. But let's see. Ankalaev did great work with the catching hands up and down, changing levels. Yeah.
Furthermore, Jiri revealed that he had turned down the offer to fight Ankalaev because he was at the time studying his course in university. He explained that he wanted to finish his academic semester and graduate before making his return to the octagon.
Yeah, that's right. After the fight with Jamal in January, I said to everyone, I want to finish the first university, and then I want to be focused for the fights and for whatever will be before me. So right now, everything is done. University is done, and right now I can be fully focused for my main job, which is the fighting. So
Incredible.
So I'm really, yeah, thank you. I'm really happy that I finished that.
In addition, Chael Sonnen emphasized that even if Alex Pereira were to lose again to Magomed Ankalaev, it wouldn't damage his stock. He noted that Pereira's popularity, marketability, and fan appeal would remain intact regardless of the outcome.
Because one thing that's very positive is it doesn't drop Pereira's stock. It would not hurt him at all. He went out, he was competitive, it's a matchup issue. Ankalaev had a little bit more drive since he'd never done it before, and it was a close fight and that little bit of drive, but no matter how close or how hard that fight was, it was also very clear. There wasn't a question of who won. It was hard, but it was clear. So I'm just bringing that to your attention. If I ask you about that fight, I'm not asking you, do you want to see them fight again? The question I'm really asking you is, do you want to see them fight 2 more times?
Meanwhile, Ali Abdelaziz praised the UFC's matchmaking, calling the Alex Pereira Magomed Ankalaev fight a product of the UFC's sharpest minds at work. While he acknowledged Pereira as a good fighter, he emphasized that Ankalaev should have already been champion weeks ago.
It was engineered. The UFC have some of the best matchmakers in the world. They have the best minds. And I think, like you should have been a champion 3 fights before you fought for the title. It was engineered not to get you there because your style of fighting, maybe it's your personality, maybe because 30%. Maybe, you remember the 30%? You know what I'm saying? But when I got him and Dana sit in one room, everything changed. Remember that, right? It was the Joshua fight with Tyson Fury, first one. But in a way, I think Alex was injured. I think Alex is a good fighter. I think he's a real fighter. He's a lion. But in a way, Ankalaev should have been a champion 2-3 years ago. Alex would never been a champion.
According to Ali, Pereira wouldn't have held the belt if that were the case, and in a rematch, he believes things will go even worse for Alex. Although he acknowledges Pereira's skill, he states that Alex lost because he had never fought someone with the skill set of Ankalaev. Now that Ankalaev has the confidence, he will win the rematch for sure.
If they fight again, and they will fight again probably in October, it's going to be worse for Alex. But Alex he's a fighter, man. But in a way, now Ankalaev have the confidence. He understand. He was a scary guy, touching people, knocking him out. But he fought a whole bunch of mediocre strikers. None of these guys was like high-level strikers. Ankalaev, he can wrestle, he can grapple, and he can strike. I think Ankalaev is more a striker than a grappler, you know? And we see him. He hurt him in the fight. Alex didn't hurt him. And I'm telling you something. When you have the confidence to hurting people, or start knocking people out, it becomes like a feeling, right?
Jiri Prochazka recently announced that he has been named the backup fighter for the upcoming bout between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. Although nothing has been officially confirmed, Jiri mentioned that discussions are ongoing about a potential title shot for the winner of the fight between Khalil Rountree Jr. and himself.
I would imagine either you or Roundtree get the call. Is it you?
Yeah, that's right. That was the deal with UFC.
The winner of your fight against Roundtree, do they fight for the belt?
Yes.
That's what they said?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
It's not yet on the paper.
Sure.
We are right now. That was their word. So
Who else would it be,
Yeah.
right?
sure.
On the other hand, Rampage Jackson stepped in with high praise for Alex Pereira, acknowledging the striker's elite skills. However, Jackson noted that if he were in his prime and matched up with Pereira, he wouldn't have stood and traded strikes. He would have taken the fight to the ground. He added that under the right circumstances, he doesn't believe Pereira would have been able to beat him.
Alex Pereira is a beast. All I can say is that I wouldn't stand and trade with him. I'd make it a full MMA fight.
You'll take him down.
If I had to fight him, I'd make it a full MMA fight. It wouldn't be no stand-up fight.
In your prime, you think you're beating Alex Pereira?
In my prime, I think if I had the right team, the right circumstances, I think it would have been hard for anybody to beat me.
Moreover, Chael Sonnen stated that the rematch was initiated by Magomed Ankalaev himself. According to Sonnen, Ankalaev had been actively calling out Alex Pereira for a second fight, while Pereira showed only a little interest.
I don't remember any of you asking for that fight. I have never read anywhere where you asked for that fight. As a matter of fact, the one that worked hardest to get that fight was Ankalaev, which was kind of a reversing of roles. Ankalaev. Big Unk. We're going with Big Unk. Big Unk was the one asking for the contest. Big Unk has been calling out Pierre, which it just doesn't usually work that way. And there was so little interest from Pereira's side, at least publicly, that I wasn't sure they were gonna do that.
Hence, Sonnen explained that the reason Magomed Ankalaev pushed for the rematch is that many people didn't give him full credit for his win. According to Chael, there was talk from fans and critics suggesting that Ankalaev's victory was a fluke.
One of the reasons that surprised me is for Big Unk to be of that mindset, it means he didn't get his due. He didn't get his credit. People questioned him. Hey, that was a fluke. That's another thing that I don't believe happened here. It was just the opposite, in fact. It was very clear. Ankalaev has the style, has the matchup, went out, proved it, has the abilities to be the champion of the world of the weight class and defeat Alex Pereira. There was no room for question.
Even so, Ali Abdelaziz stated that Magomed Ankalaev will be even more dangerous in the rematch. He pointed out that Alex Pereira is getting older, which could affect his ability to keep up with Ankalaev's pace and intensity this time around.
And I think Ankalaev right now is going to be very dangerous. And remember, Alex is 38 years old. And he traveled all over the place. And, you know, he have a great coach. I like his coach a lot. I think he's a very good guy too. But I think this is Ankalaev time. Should have been Ankalaev time. Hunter Campbell, Mick Miner, all the UFC. It was all sandbagging him. And now they know what's coming. And they was praying to lose. Like, listen, Mufsar situation too. They praying Pico to beat Mufsar also.
Building on that, Bedtime MMA explained that even if Alex Pereira doesn't attempt to take Ankalaev down, he'll likely focus on being more aggressive and adopting the stand-up fight route. However, he emphasized that Magomed Ankalaev's superior boxing and striking will be the deciding factor, predicting that Ankalaev will effectively counterpunch Pereira throughout the fight.
But I think even if he doesn't get takedowns, being more aggressive and being more square and really looking to box, like, Shama, I think he's going to open himself up to counter punches from Ankalaev. Ankalaev does a really good job of countering on the back foot. He has a great left hand down the middle. I think he just is a better defensively sound overall boxer than Alex Pereira. He doesn't pull back with his chin up. I think we're going to see Magomed Ankalaev outbox Alex Pereira, pull him into big left hands, maybe rock him at some point again. I think the front kick to the body is a great weapon that's going to work well against Alex Pereira. You're not going to get taken down by Pereira, so you can blast kicks and really make him a little bit more defensive. And I think that Magomed Ankalaev on the back foot and the front foot is going to be able to outbox Alex Pereira.
In addition, Bedtime MMA made a confident prediction, stating that he expects this rematch to end in a unanimous decision win for Magomed Ankalaev. He noted that the immediate rematch feels set up for a much clearer outcome compared to their previous bout, with Ankalaev likely leaving no doubt this time around.
I think it's going to be a unanimous decision this time. I think it's going to be one of those fights where the immediate rematch is just a clearer decision victory for the guy that won the first one. I definitely think Alex Pereira I will say this, inside the first 2 rounds, Pereira will rock him at some point. I will say that. But I do think as the fight goes on, Pereira is going to lose in the boxing, get kind of, hit with straight punches, kind of wobbled a little bit, be more aggressive on the front foot and just be kind of chasing Ankalaev. And I don't think that's going to work for him. I think this is just a type of matchup that is really going to be hard for Alex Pereira to beat. But I don't know. We'll see. But I'm leaning Magomed Ankalaev by unanimous decision. 49-46, maybe a 48-47 scorecard because Pereira has plot armor. But I think when you look at immediate rematches, like the guy that won the first one usually wins the second one clearer. So I'm going to pick Magomed Ankalaev by decision.
Building on that, TJ Love's Fight suggested that this could be Alex Pereira's final shot at holding the title, calling it the potential endgame of his career. He questioned whether Pereira can rise to the occasion once more, or if this moment will mark the conclusion of his championship journey.
But more importantly, what we're definitely seeing is Alex Pereira's last chance at the belt. With Alex turning 38 a couple days ago, and we'll get into it, but even him hinting a possible retirement on Twitter, this is for sure his last chance at being a UFC champion, and this is definitely looking like endgame for his career. So we have to ask, does Alex Pereira get it done in his last chance, or are we seeing the end to Alex Pereira's career?
In addition, TJ pointed out that with the rematch now locked in on a stacked card, this could be Pereira's final shot at the title. He expressed a gut feeling that Pereira might not pull it off, noting that, at 38, Pereira is entering the twilight of his career.
And now we officially got the rematch on a stacked UFC 320 card. And this may be an unpopular opinion, but my gut feeling is saying, I'm not sure he gets it done. Yeah, everyone in the comments will say how I switched up on Alex. I'm quick to change my opinion, how fickle I am when it comes to UFC takes. I had Alex winning instead of Magomed, even though that was literally how the underdog wins. But anyways, there's going to be a lot of criticism about how I'm quote-unquote turning on Alex Pereira and calling his end early. But you know what? Fuck it. I'll stay on my base. This is very clearly Alex Pereira's last shot at the belt, and last shot at a solid win, I think.
Voicing his opinion on Ankalaev, Lucas Tracy shared that Magomed Ankalaev is actually a funny and lighthearted guy behind the scenes. He said that every time Magomed steps into a room or the gym, he has everyone laughing. According to Lucas, most people don't realize this side of him because he comes across as stoic and serious in public.
But like, this guy's just a funny overall guy. He's just hilarious. Everything he does, he steps in the room, he steps in at Extreme Couture, he's just making everyone laugh. Magomed's just a funny guy, man. And honestly, he's just like, people don't really know it because he seems a little bit stoic at press conferences sometimes, but sometimes Magomed will just crack a cheesy smile, cheesy grin, and the jokes just come flowing. And people don't really understand this about Magomed, but he's just a jokester. He's a trickster. Once this guy starts getting a little bit jokey with everyone, and as I said, the jokes start flowing, he'll have everyone at Extreme Couture rolling on the ground, laughing. Unfortunately, it doesn't always translate, but he's just a funny dude. That's number one.
But TJ further added that the pressure of retirement may already be creeping in for Alex since he has been hinting at it for some time now.
He's 38 years old and is very clearly at the end of his career. And on top of this, he was also suggesting that he was thinking of retiring, even though he's clearly not retiring. Just the simple fact that he has even the thought of that in his head means he's 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door. And we just saw how having that mentality has slowed down fighters. Additionally, the guy's like 240 pounds now. We often see guys go up in weight class as their careers progress because it's just harder to cut that weight as you get older.
Nonetheless, for TJ, Alex has a tough weight cut ahead of him, and with him getting up there in age, with 1 foot in and 1 foot out, it almost always signals the beginning of the end.
And with Alex being 38 now and starting at a higher weight, that weight cut is just going to be tougher. So with a tough weight cut ahead of him Now being a little older and mentally already considering retirement, Alex is already starting off at a disadvantage. I know Alexander Volkanovski had a similar situation happen when he was given the chance to come back against a young killer in Diego Lopez and was coming off 2 brutal KO losses, but he was 36, and even though that's only a 2-year age difference, that makes a hell of a lot of a difference in the sport.
However, Lucas pointed out that Magomed Ankalaev often wins fights through underwhelming decisions. He admitted he was rooting for Alex Pereira in their first bout, but Magomed managed to edge out a split decision. Lucas added that Ankalaev will likely continue winning like that.
He beats your favorite fighters by lackluster decision. As much of a fan of Magomed as I am, I do have to be honest, I was rooting for Pereira. Pereira's a more entertaining champion. And he just goes out there and it's like, no matter how violent, vicious, no matter how wild his opponents are, no matter the track record of how entertaining and consistently entertaining fighters are, Magomed will go out there and he'll beat him by a close split decision that's a little bit lackluster, and he'll just do it every time. He's not the most entertaining. He can have slow matchups, and the Jan Blachowicz fight was okay. It wasn't anything to write home about. The fight with Alex Pereira was actually just straight up boring.
Adding to that, Tom Aspinall expressed his respect for Magomed Ankalaev, stating that he doesn't receive the credit he deserves. He highlighted how Ankalaev has ragdolled the top contenders in the light heavyweight division, run through everyone in his path, and ultimately became champion by defeating the long-standing title holder, Alex Pereira.
Magomed Ankalaev doesn't get enough respect. Like, the guy has run through everybody, and he just beat a long-standing champion, and he should be given respect in his own right for being a champion. And I think that it's a tough fight for Alex.
As UFC 320 inches closer, the narrative surrounding Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira continues to build. With fighters locked into intense camps, analysts split in opinion, and emotions running high from their previous clash, all eyes are on whether Pereira can reclaim dominance or if Ankalaev will still be the champ. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video with more exciting updates.